Do you want to start making music at home but have no clue how to set up a studio? Well, in this video, I'm going to reveal the 7 most important tools that you need, show you how to set everything up, and tell you exactly how much it'll cost for you to start making music today. But first, let me show you one of the incredibly small spaces that I've recorded music in. Back in 2007, I was living in a tiny bedroom and attending music recording school. While the school had a beautiful studio, students like me could only use it while attending class, and it was always jam-packed. But I still wanted to create music, so I grabbed my laptop, a small interface, a couple instruments, and I set it all up in my bedroom on a desk that I found on the side of the curb. There was so little space that when the keyboard was on its stand, it hung out over the bed and completely blocked my dresser, meaning that I had to climb over the bed if I wanted to change my clothes. Despite the limited space, those recordings kickstarted my musical adventure, leading me to earn hundreds of thousands of streams and thousands of dollars from my music. And none of that would have happened if I'd have let the lack of space stop me from just starting. So let's build you a studio so that you can get started on your journey too. But there are 7 things that you will absolutely need in order to get started making music at home. And without them, you'll never get a professional sound for your music. However, there's a good chance that you already have the first item in your house, because you need to have something to record, mix, and release your music on. Back in the early days, I recorded everything on this busted up 2007 MacBook. The keyboard was broken and it wouldn't turn on unless it was plugged into the wall. But I made it work. Nowadays, I record on a desktop, but basically any computer that you can get access to is enough to get you started. But now that you have your computer plugged in and booted up, how are you going to actually make music? Back when I first started, there was a limited number of programs that you could use to record. Nowadays, there are tons of options for you to capture your ideas to your computer, your tablet, your smartphone. Hell, there's even some that let you record in a web browser. Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton, I've tested out many of these programs, but my personal favorite is Persona Studio One. It's a one-time purchase, which means no subscriptions, and it comes with some awesome stock plugins and samples so that you can get started making music right away. You will need a digital audio workstation or a DAW to record your music. So just pick the program that feels right for you and install it on your computer. Okay, you've got your recording software booted up and you're ready to record your first song. But how do you actually record your ideas? You're going to need a box like this to get sound in and out of your DAW. I'm using the SSL2, which is a super sturdy little box with a giant volume knob and has built-in circuitry that emulates the sound of mixing consoles found in professional studios. This is a great audio interface for creators of any level. Now that your DAW is booted up and your interface is plugged in, you're almost ready to start making your first song. There's only one problem. You can't hear anything. This next item is a critical piece of your home studio, and it's kind of a choose-your-own adventure. You're going to need something that lets you listen back to your music. If you're on a strict budget, then a pair of closed-back headphones will be perfect. I use this beat-up pair of Sennheiser HD280s. This is my second pair, and this brand of headphone has been working for me for the past 15 years. If you have a bit more money to spend, then you can invest in a pair of studio monitor speakers. Yes, studio speakers are also called monitors, just like a computer screen. I don't know who decided that. It's stupid, but it is what it is. These Yamaha HS5s are the perfect pair for any home studio and are used as referencing monitors in professional studios all over the world. Basically, if you can get your mix sounding good on a pair of HS5s, it'll sound good everywhere. So now you're ready to start recording your first song, but we need something to actually play the music on. If you want to make indie, punk, rock, metal, this is where a guitar will come in handy. And Squier has some great budget options like the Mustang Bullet. If you want to make beats or synth-based music, then the Akai MPK Mini 2 keyboard is a perfect starter. It has trigger pads for drums and doesn't take up too much space on your desk, so it won't block you from getting to the clothes in your dresser. Now you've gotten your first chord progression down and you want to add some vocals. So how do you get your voice into the computer? The first song I recorded was way back before I had an interface or even a proper DAW. At the time, back in 2003, I just had a tiny little computer microphone that plugged directly into the sound card. It sounded roughly like putting a piece of string between 2 tin cans. It was shit. Nowadays, I use something that can be found in music studios and live music venues all around the world. The Shure SM58 is a dynamic vocal microphone that's perfect for musicians or streamers that want to capture their voice. There are plenty of great mics out there, but every musician should have one of these in their toolbox. Hell, it's the microphone that I'm using to record this video right now. Now you have just about everything that you need to set up your home studio. But there are a few extras that will make your life a lot easier. If you don't want to hold a microphone in your hand every time you use it, then invest in a microphone stand. Next, you're gonna want something that will help you soften the pops that your voice can make going into the microphone. The SM58 has a piece of foam inside the cap, and this can help. But if you plan on recording vocals, then having an extra layer of protection is always a good thing. Plus, if you ever want to upgrade to another microphone, you will need a pop filter. They come in many varieties, but personally I use this metal one. Unlike fabric filters, it's much easier to clean the buildup of spit from singing off of a metal pop filter. However, you can also just get a little windsock filter that sits over the top of your microphone, like this one right here. And finally, you're going to need some things that let you connect all the pieces of your studio together. For your microphone, you'll need an XLR cable. For your guitar, you'll need a 1/4-inch patch cable. Your keyboard should come with a USB cable. And if you bought studio monitors, you'll need 1/4-inch TRS cables, which are the exact same as 1/4-inch patch cables, they just have an extra ring. Now that you have all the tools and cables together, let's set up shop. I've made music in bedrooms, basements, closets, hell, even a kitchen once. Not suggested during breakfast time. But so long as you can fit a desk, table, or a pile of boxes somewhere, it'll work as a studio space. Just try to be considerate of your housemates. To set up your studio, first you'll want to turn on your computer and download and install the digital audio workstation of your choice. Then we can plug in our interface and install the drivers. Next, we can plug in our cables. I have my interface with the XLR microphone cable in channel 1 and the 1/4-inch guitar cable in channel 2. If you bought speakers, then plug one end of the TRS cables into the speaker and the other into your interface. And if you're using headphones, then plug those suckers in. Finally, plug your MIDI keyboard in using the supplied USB cable. Now you can launch your DAW, turn up the volume, and start making music. But you're probably thinking to yourself, Andy, this is a lot of gear. Am I gonna have to take out a high-interest bank loan just to start making music? Look, I get that we're all on different budgets, but keep in mind, this is the exact setup that I'm using right now, and I've done my best to keep this setup as affordable as possible, because we're all musicians and we're broke. I get it. You probably already have access to a computer, so we'll skip that cost. The biggest investment is the SSL2 interface at $250. Then you'll need a DAW. Studio One Artist is $80 and is the most affordable paid digital audio workstation on the market. But if that's out of your budget, you can just download Reaper, which is basically forever free. It's just not the most user-friendly. That said, all of the DAWs have some sort of free demo available, so you can go try them all out and see which one is most comfortable for you. If you choose to stick to the budget-friendly setup, then a pair of Sennheiser HD280 headphones will run you $100. The HS5 speakers are a much larger investment of $500 for a pair, and you can absolutely wait a while and save up for them. Plenty of musicians work only on headphones. For recording vocals or streaming your voice, you're going to need a microphone, but the SM58 will only cost you $100. And once you buy one, you'll basically have it for the rest of your life. Seriously, these are awesome microphones and they're totally indestructible. If you're a guitar player, then you probably already have a guitar, but if you want a MIDI keyboard, the Akai MPK2 Mini comes in at just $80. Finally, you can get a budget microphone stand for $20, your cables will be another $20, and a pop filter is $10. So grand total, the cost of setting up a home studio is under $600. And there are links to all these pieces of gear down in the description. But everything I've just told you about setting up a studio is completely useless, because there's 3 mistakes about recording your first songs that if you don't fix them, you'll never have pro sounding music. So watch this video next to learn how to solve those problems.